Welcome back, and to all of you joining in on social media, welcome to you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget, you can ask all of your queries live, and we'll try and take as many of them as possible. The first question is coming in from YouTube. We've got Mahesh Vaidyanathan, who is the earliest of the early birds, and he's got a question on Abbott India. If we can pull up that chart, it's currently trading below his buy price. He bought at levels of 15,000. And he intends to hold for the next 5 years. So, Rajesh, I'm coming to you on this because he's got a thesis on this. And that thesis is that nutrition market has huge potential. Some of Abbott's products are really popular. And this stock has stayed low due to lower than expected results. So, should he hold on for the duration that he's talking about, which is 5 years?
Despite the fact that the numbers were not that good in the last quarter, but I still feel that the fundamentals are quite good of this company with the kind of promoter pedigree, the kind of balance sheet it has. And if somebody has a long-term portfolio, maybe time horizon of 12 to 18 months, one can continue to hold to this stock.
All right, our next query has come from Seiko Srinivas, and this is specifically for you, Kunal. He said that he's loved your Dr. Reddy's observation. He said beautiful observation on Dr. Reddy's, but he wants you to clarify on Kaplan Point Laboratories. He's bought about 500 shares in it. So how does Kaplan Point look on the chart?
I think it looks very attractive. The stock in last, I think 1 month from March ending lows from 400 to 500 has recovered quite well. Those typical observations which you look out for, that whether there's been a composition of good volume set up for Kaplan Point. So all those ingredients are coming back. Historically, when you look at it over the last 4-5 years as well, the stock has done reasonably well for itself. So on the longer term time frames, it's done pretty well. On the shorter term time frames, you're seeing some recovery on Kaplan Point, and I think all of those are very strong chart readings which you look out for. So I would suggest that if you're looking to buy, or if you've already bought, then I think it's a good strategy to hold on to the investments. I think with a time frame of 3 months approximately, a target of 600 to 625 should be a high probability trade for Kaplan Point.
Okay, the next query is seemingly a very well-researched question. We've got a question coming in from Santi on YouTube about a company called Kiri Industries. Now, this is a stock that is a small cap company. It's trading with gains of over 1% today. Market cap of just about 1,400 crore rupees. It's a company that manufactures dyes and intermediaries and chemicals. Now, his specific question, Rajesh, relates to court proceedings in Singapore, which and he's asking, now that those court proceedings are over with, he's referring to a case against the company by Senda. What would the long-term outlook be? Should he buy into this company for the long term?
Yes, of course, he's right that the Singapore case is over and the overhang of that case is being removed from the company itself. But if you look at the numbers have not done anything, despite the fact that chemicals and dyes companies are doing well. Last quarter numbers were not that good. Top line was in fact negative, bottom line went up by around 10-12% only. It's trading at a low valuation of PE around 5-6, but still I think there are better choices available. Maybe Kiri Industries or Clariant or Sudarshan Chemicals would be a better buy in a chemical industry, chemical sector, rather than going for Kiri.
All right, our next query is coming from Shubh Mathur. He wants to know the view on Reliance Industries. He's bought the stock at around 1,991 rupees per share. He wants to know whether he should continue to hold on to the counter. Kunal, I'll come first to you. How is the chart for Reliance Industries looking at? 1,991 is the buying price. Should he continue to hold on to this Reliance Industries?
Well, I think you can hold on to the investments on Reliance Industries. Now it's a matter of time that when the stock will come back strongly and cover up with this huge underperformance in the last 6-7 months. I think from the September highs of 2,350 approximately for Reliance Industries, it's been underperforming significantly the benchmark Nifty. But stocks like Reliance have a tendency of remaining underperforming from a a medium-term perspective, but when they tend to cover up the underperformance, the rally in the in that kind of perspective tends to be more vicious. So I think in that aspect, you can hold on to Reliance Industries. Again, I said it's a matter of when will the stock cover up the underperformance and start to.
All right, that's the view on Reliance Industries. Let's go across now to a couple of questions which I want to club, Rajesh. Now, Manjunath is asking about Borosil Renewable for the long term, and you've got Radesh who's asking about Adani Green Energy till 2024. Seemingly, both of them want to play the renewable energy theme. Which, according to you, would be the perfect pick? Would one of these be a good pick, or would you look outside of this?
One is Adani Green, and what was the other one you said?
Borosil Renewable.
Okay. I would say stay away from both of them, because despite the fact that Adani Green is a strong floating, the capacity is huge, but it has run up quite a lot. And the valuation on a higher side. So entering at this point of time won't be a prudent decision to make. Rather, I would say it may take a huge time of consolidation if it goes into consolidation. A better bet on valuation parameters, if you look at this point of time, would be in power sector, of course, would be CESC, which is trading at a very low valuation, or a Tata Power, which is again trading at a very low valuation, and they're moving into solar and EV and all those things. I think these two stocks in the power sector would be a better bet than going from those companies.
Rajesh, there's a next query coming in from Abhishek Kohli. He's saying that is Syngene International a good buy for the long term? Wants to know how is it placed in the CRAMS industry, and do you sense any tailwinds also in the CRAMS industry? So what would your advice be on Syngene International for Abhishek? Rajesh?
Yeah. I think it's a very good bet. The companies were doing very well. The product profile is good. And I think it's going to outperform other companies in the peer group. So definitely a buy. And if somebody wants to play safe on this also, then one can buy Biocon, where you have both of these. The Syngene is a subsidiary of Biocon, then you get the benefit of that, and the biological play biologics that Biocon has. So one can buy both of them.
To be having a little bit of trouble with Kunal's line, so I'm going to come back to you, Rajesh, on the cement space. And there are quite a few names that are mentioned here, but I want to stick specifically with Ultratech Cement. And we've got Puneet Nanda who's got a question on it. Based on what you saw with ACC's results yesterday, quite the stellar performance, especially on the EBITDA margin front, do you anticipate that Ultratech will be one to watch out for on account of the kind of price increases we've seen over the past several months?
Definitely yes, Alex, because one, Ultratech has got the largest capacity in India. They are expanding capacity also. EBITDA per ton has come at a very reasonable numbers. The number last quarter has been very good, and we anticipate better numbers in at least 2-3 quarters to come. Government focus in affordable housing and infrastructure is another benefit. And somebody, if he wants to play safe on Ultratech, I think one can go ahead and buy Grasim, which is a holding company for Ultratech, and you get a benefit of not only Ultratech but AB Capital and other things in Grasim also. So if one is a momentum player, then Ultratech would be a better bet, and if one is a medium to long term investor, Grasim would be a better.
All right. Our next query is from Shanmuga Sundaram. He's saying he's holding Dixon Tech at 3,500 rupees per share. He wants to know whether he should continue to hold on to this particular counter. Kunal, welcome back. What's your view on Dixon Tech?
Stock exceptional chart, done phenomenally well post the March 2020 recovery. The long-term prospects have been quite stable. In fact, the best part about the stock, at least I like that, is that it doesn't go through too much of a volatility. So I think currently as well the stock is just nearing above its 50-day moving average, which has been a good support zone for Dixon Technologies. So I think if you're looking to buy specifically from a long-term view, these are good prices where you can look to invest and have a very similar kind of a strategy of buy on dips anytime the stock goes through a correction of 10 to 15% odd.
Okay, a stock that is trading weak, Kunal, of late, and this is specifically a question to you from Rajan Vittal on Eicher Motors. He's asking whether this is a good time to enter the stock for the long term. Now, of course, on the fundamentals, there are question marks over two-wheeler demand and two-wheeler currently what the supply is like and whether that can be absorbed. But on the charts, it's trading below all of its key moving averages. How does it look right now for the next, and he's asking, in fact, how long he should hold it for?
So I think it's a good question. Specifically on the auto stocks, Alex, I believe that they're nearing some sort of a short-term to medium-term bottom. So stocks like Eicher Motors, and there are so many stocks on the large cap space which are still trading very close to or either below their 200 moving averages. But when you look at this, the context of the correction in the last 3 months, Eicher Motors specifically from 3,000, 3,100 has corrected towards 2,300. So it's a correction of more than 700 to 800 points on the stock, which is as much as 20-25%. Now, from a large cap perspective, a 20% to 25% correction should be a good starting point for you to enter because the risk rewards are in favor. Now, when the cycle will turn for the auto stock, I think it's just a matter of time. But starting to enter at the right point as well is also one part of your or major part of your investments or your trading positions. So I think at 2,300 levels for Eicher Motors, it's a good strategy for you to start buying at current levels and then wait for the cycle to turn and then you can average on highs rather than averaging on dips.
All right, our next query is coming in from KK. He's saying, please advise how Glenmark's proposed IPO of a subsidiary, and I believe he's talking about Glenmark Life Sciences, will improve the market price of Glenmark. Wants to know that by how much will it aid Glenmark's stock price. Rajesh, I'll come to you. What's your view on the IPO, the ARM's IPO of Glenmark, and how does it improve the matrix for Glenmark as well?
See, it's value unlocking for Glenmark in simple terms. If you say the numbers have been doing well, they're into research and all that's doing well, and this is going to be a value unlocking process because some of the holdings would still be there in Glenmark. And as far as the IPO is concerned, definitely yes, the company is good, the numbers have been good. We have gone through the DRHP filed day before yesterday, and we found that the story was good, but a lot depends on the pricing factor, how the price is announced for the IPO. If it is very aggressive with price, then we will take a call. But at this point of time, I would just say that yes, the company is very good and it's going to add to the valuations of Glenmark because a lot of value unlocking will take place.
All right, we've got a question on Apollo Hospitals, and it is trading very strong today, as much as 4.5% gains for the stock. So Kunal, the question is for you, and I'm not really sure how to ask this because I think I will restrict myself to asking what is the intraday view on the counter, because we got a viewer who has taken a position. I do not know what the position is. He's asking whether he should square it off. But since I don't know what the position is, can I just ask you to give us an intraday view?
So in fact, Alex, yesterday on the BNSN show, I had given a buy call on Apollo Hospital because I was anticipating a very strong breakout. It's a swing breakout for Apollo Hospital, over the last 1.5 months. So specifically from the March, beginning, or the month of the March beginning, the stock was consolidating, and yesterday it managed to show some first signals of a breakout where you saw price, volume, all those characteristics coming up strongly. If it's specifically towards intraday, then I believe that at 3,300, which I had given a target yesterday, the stock has hit those target levels, so you can square off your intraday positions. But if you're in from a swing trading perspective and you want to hold on for, say, another couple of weeks, then I believe you can hold on to the investments, keep a stop loss or a trailing stop loss of 3150, which could be your cost price on Apollo Hospital, and a target to be kept at approximately 3,450.
All right, that's Kunal's view coming in Apollo Hospitals. Moving on, you have Aniket Gandhi who's asking whether Power Grid or Tata Power, which of this looks better over the longer term? Rajesh, what's your view? Power Grid or Tata Power, which one is better off in the longer term?
It's a difficult choice because valuations are attractive for both of the counters. In Power Grid, you get good dividend yield. It's a government company, and the best part is there's no debt in that. It's a great company, as we all know, and they get a commission on what the power is transmitted. So, for a long-term view, it's also good. And when, as we come to Tata Power, as I discussed earlier on the show, also that Tata Power can be bought for a longer-term horizon because of various reasons, like that the power division is doing well. They're going to do solar, they're going to be EV. So I think Tata Power is also a very good bet. So both of them can be bought at the current levels for a maybe upside of 20-25% in the next 1 year.
Coming back to you, Rajesh, on this same counter, okay, we've got Sheffer who's asking about Apollo Hospitals on the fundamentals. Now, if I remember correctly, at the onset of the pandemic, this stock was trading quite weak, and in fact, over the course of the last year, we've seen it gain quite a bit of ground. What is the view on the fundamentals?
See, Alex, I have recommended this stock a number of times in buy now, sell now from the last so many months, and I still am very bullish on this. With around 70 hospitals, with more than 10,000 beds, 3,100 pharmacies, this company is doing very well. The focus is on debt reduction. Tier 2, Tier 3 city hospitals are doing very well, and with the kind of health issues we are witnessing, I think corporate hospitals are going to do well. And not to forget, the kind of things going on for Mediclaim front, people are going for Mediclaim, and also that's the kind of upside we can witness in this. Yes, there are some restriction on medical tourism which used to come from Bangladesh and neighboring countries for the time being, but I think that's just a matter of time. Apollo Hospital can be a very good bet. It has corrected from 3,600 odd levels. Maybe so medium-term target of 35 to 3,600 is quite possible. Longer-term target can be much higher.
Right, our next query is coming in from Sahil Mathur. He wants to know that does IndiaMART look good for entering right now for a long-term perspective? Kunal, what's your view on IndiaMART? Does it look good to enter at these levels?
So again, a stock which had done exceptionally well from 9,200, it's corrected back towards 7,700 kind of levels where it's currently trading. So again, a reasonable correction for someone to enter. But then again, the stock needs to go through, I would say, sense one round of correction on prices, because the volumes have somehow gone through a bit of a low. So I would sense that maybe a drop of another 10% to 12% could be in the offing for IndiaMART. But if you have a strategy, if you have a time frame of medium term to long term, then I believe you can start at current levels and then add if the stock corrects to closer to 7,000 levels.
The next question, in fact, incidentally, is something that we spoke about not too long back on the show in a thematic conversation on pharma. Abhishek Kohli is asking about Aurobindo Pharma, and Kunal did speak about this counter in the context of its peers, but he's asking Abhishek about the valuation picture vis-a-vis its peers, Rajesh. So how does it stack up, and would you say that it's still attractive to buy?
It's still attractive. I believe that this is one of the stock which is in the lowest valuation chain of the entire pharma space, if you look at. The numbers have been quite strong. Formulation revenues have gone up. API is doing well. They have announced that there were news in last couple of days that they're going to announce some demerger, and US and Europe both are doing well. If you look at valuation, FY22 P is around 12-13 odd times, and that's one of the cheapest stock available in pharma space, I would say. One can go long. Yes, it has run up quite a lot in the recent past. It may consolidate, but it's a good stock on valuation parameters. And somebody has a time horizon of 9 to 12 months, 25-30% upside from on current market price is quite possible.
Right, and this one would be our last query for the day, and this one is from Sandeep Deshpande saying, what's the view on Adani Port? Rajesh, Adani Group stocks have been on fire for a long time right now, and specifically, what's your view coming in on Adani Ports?
Look at the capacity, it's one of the largest ports company in India, I would say, and the kind of focus on logistics and other things, the company is going to do well, no doubt on that. Mundra and Amashkova ports are doing well. But if you look at the valuations are on a very higher side, and it would be quite a risk to enter at these levels. Somebody holding this stock might continue to hold, but new entries should not be taken at this point of time. Maybe some correction could be a better opportunity.
All right, and that was our last query for the day. Thank you, Kunal, as well as Rajesh, for waiting by, resolving all the viewer queries, talking about Dr. Reddy's, as well as giving your high risk and low risk ideas. All right, on that note, we are out of time for the query segment, but we'll take a break on this edition of Buy Now, Sell Now. Stay tuned, more on the other side. Don't go anywhere.